So, if I had to describe the energy for this week, I would say that it is equal parts chaotic and emotionally intense. But one thing is for certain, this week is emotionally unavoidable. The truth will be revealed for better or for worse. Now, on the chaotic side, there's going to be ample opportunity to distract yourself. You might feel some things stirring underneath the surface, some things, some emotions trying to leak out, but you'll probably feel like doom scrolling or tuning into whatever's going on in the news, the dumpster fire that life is these days. However, that emotional undercurrent is going to get really loud, especially by the end of the week when the full moon in Scorpio is happening. All right. But in any event, this week is about emotional truth, emotional exposure, and emotional consequences. So, if you want to know more about the energy of the moment, stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you're new around here, hi, hello, and welcome. My name is Mel. I'm a professional astrologer, and I'm the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So, if you're new, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So, let's dive right in because the energy of the moment is a mixed bag. It's chaotic, it's emotionally intense. This is going to be one of those weeks where it's anything but boring and anything but dull. All right. So, first and foremost, I want to say that it's always so interesting because when I do these videos, I'm literally tapping into the energy to sort of explain it to you. And this is like my sixth time trying to record this video because there was a whole bunch of distractions. I couldn't get the words right. My mind was going a mile a minute, and that's definitely how many of us are feeling right now. But before I get into the energy of the moment, I kind of want to give you a backdrop of sort of how the energy has progressed and where we're feeling this shift. So last week, the sun moved into Taurus. So we are officially in Taurus season as I'm recording this video. But of course, before Taurus season, we've got Aries. Now, keep in mind, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the initiator, it's the firecracker. So we have this energy of initiation, this energy of movement. When you couple that with the fact that it's a 1 year in numerology, plus it is a fire horse year, suffice it to say, I feel like many of us were on turbo speed in Aries season. We were either doing the most, starting new things with a bang, like we were really on this high and this momentum of movement. And then Taurus season happens, and Taurus season is notoriously much slower than Aries season. It doesn't mean that things come to a halt. It's that Taurus is like, okay, we've done the most during Aries season, and now it's time for us to solidify that. Taurus season is about stability. So it's a time where we solidify all of the efforts that we put in Aries season. We started new things and now we're stabilizing those things. So it is notoriously slower. It's a little more grounded. It's perhaps peaceful. I want you to think of Taurus season as like a cow or like a bull, right? But it's a sunny day, it's noon, they're in the pasture, they're lying down, they're chilling, they're taking a nap in the sun. Like that is sort of the essence of Taurus season. It's also a great time to like power down, sort of get your energy back after all of, the movement of Aries season, right? So Taurus is about comfort. However, with the rest of the astrology this week and of the moment, comfort can be hard to come by because we've got a lot, but I'll get into that in a second. So Taurus wants to ask you, like, what do you need to feel stable? What is sustainable? Especially with all of the activity in Aries season. What have you done that you can actually sustain right now? Okay. But I want you to understand something out the gate, especially in the beginning of the week. We are very grounded. We're very in our bodies, sensual, but then we're also very much in our minds. And that is thanks to Venus and Uranus in Gemini. Okay. And this is kind of the monkey wrench in the energy flow this week. All right. So, especially Uranus and Gemini. This is a major transit. Uranus is going to be in Gemini for the next 7 to 8 years. So, wherever Gemini is in your natal chart, get comfortable. All right. And speaking of natal chart, if you want to really understand your natal chart, like for real, the first step is understanding your chart ruler. And if you're interested in that, I've got something special for you. Check out the link below. It is called Your Chart Ruler Runs Your Life. It's the prelude to sort of understanding your chart in its entirety. It's a short, simple workshop and PDF that you can watch on demand that you can start to use to actually learn your natal chart. All right. And if you're interested in that, the link is in the description box below, as well as tagged to this video. So definitely check it out. But in any event, wherever Gemini is in your natal chart, this is where there is going to be a significant energy shift. Lots of surprises, lots of mental insight over the next 7 to 8 years. So keep that in mind. But Uranus just entered Gemini actually a couple of days ago. And so we are inundated with mental activity. And this is prime time for mental distraction. I mean, there's enough to distract us in the world as is, but Uranus and Gemini is going to flood us with information, misinformation, disinformation, chatter, commentary. All of the things, especially online, are probably going to ramp up, especially right now. So, we've got the Taurus energy, which is really keeping us grounded, a little less active, and very stable and focused on our stability and security. And then we've got Uranus and Gemini, which is messing with our heads. Lots of distractions, lots of chatter. And then we've also got Venus in Gemini, which is really going to ramp up the social aspect of all of that. Venus in Gemini is chatty. She is social. She is communicative. So there's this real emphasis and focus on our relationships, how we communicate with them, one-to-one dynamics, social commentary. All of those things are firing on all cylinders right now. Venus in Gemini is like, especially now that we're in springtime, think of a bee that's flying from flower to flower, pollinating each flower, buzzing about. That is definitely Venus and Gemini. So if you kind of understand the picture that I'm painting right now, we've got sort of the relaxation and the need for comfort with Taurus, with distraction overload with Venus and Uranus and Gemini, right? So that kind of sets the stage for where we're at currently. Now, as the week progresses, you may begin to feel emotional intensity. And this is due to the full moon in Scorpio. Now, the full moon in Scorpio is always a hell of a time because it brings up a lot from the surface. It brings up a lot to the surface, things that are stirring underneath. Now, I feel like we're going to experience this in sort of two tiers, the individual tier and the societal tier. Now, the one thing about Scorpio is that it reveals the truth, for better or for worse. No matter how ugly, how disgusting, how vile it is, Scorpio is going to reveal it. And as if that hasn't been happening enough, we're going to see this happen, perhaps in a very intense and grand sort of way, something that could be extremely socially repugnant, dirty, scandalous. That again, I feel like we're experiencing this on a day-to-day basis, especially here in the US. But that full moon in Scorpio is going to put that on blast. And that's sort of the higher level of it. The more personal level is that there is going to be this emotional purge that you may be experiencing. Whatever's underneath the surface that is causing obstacles, that's causing challenges even, that could really be indicative of self-sabotage, even in a way, is going to see the light of day or the light of night under this full moon in Scorpio. Hella intense. I cannot stress that enough. And especially if you've got Scorpio in one of your angular houses, which means Scorpio is your first house, your fourth house, your seventh house, or your 10th house, you are likely going to feel this very intensely and quite strong. Okay. So when it comes to this emotional upheaval, let's call it that, like the vision that I'm getting in my mind right now, and forgive me for being graphic, is like regurgitating these emotions, right? These emotions that maybe you stuffed underneath the surface, that you've been ignoring, things that hurt, things that are traumatic, regurgitation. So be prepared. But when it comes to this, it may be difficult to process this because there's so much distraction. Uranus and Gemini is going to have your mind all over the place. And even if your mind isn't all over the place, there's a lot going on in your external environment. The commentary, the chatter, the thoughts, the narratives. All of that is amped up. All of that, it's like a pot of boiling water that's about to overflow. Uranus and Gemini is really throwing us for a loop, throwing us curveballs mentally, people talking out their neck, people talking sideways. There's a whole bunch. And then when you have this emotional upheaval sort of brewing underneath the surface, it makes for a very emotionally intense week. Or perhaps a week where you're really trying to avoid the emotional intensity, and you may be feeling this already, right? That's all I can really say because I know I'm starting to feel it already. Like things that need purging coming up, and perhaps the desire to want to stuff it underneath the surface. However, this is one of those weeks where you don't want to do that. Why? Because the more you stuff it, the more it's just going to be pushed up to the top. That full moon in Scorpio is going to unearth it whether you like it or not. So you can either work with the energy or allow it to drag you in the most dramatic and intense way possible. So the choice is yours. So now let's get into sort of the astrology of this full moon in Scorpio and exactly what's happening at that time. So, of course, with the full moon in Scorpio, it means that the moon is in Scorpio and the sun is in Taurus. So there's already this opposition. Taurus wants to keep things superficial. Taurus wants to keep things on an even keel and sort of just surface level, comfortable, secure. And Scorpio's like, I can't let you, like, you're not going to have peace unless you regurgitate these things, these emotions that could lead to self sabotage, that could really, preclude you from having that comfort and that stability that Taurus so desperately wants, right? But apart from that, the other astrology for this full moon, and I'm looking at the chart right now if you see me looking to the side. Um, so the moon is also going to be in sort of a loose square to Pluto. Now, Scorpio is ruled by Mars and by Pluto. So the fact that the Scorpio full moon is making an aspect to Pluto means there's going to be intensity. Like, but this intensity is not for no reason. This intensity is to enact change. Now, what I love about the placement of Pluto right now is that it is in Aquarius, right? Now, Aquarius is an air sign. Aquarius is also ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is in Gemini. So, to boil it down to its essence, this full moon, as intense as these emotions that are coming up are going to be, it's actually designed to get you to change your mindset, to adopt a new mindset, to be innovative, so that perhaps you're not going to feel these emotions anymore once you regurgitate them, because now you have a new mindset. Not only that, I feel like this full moon is a way, it can be a pattern disruptor. And what I mean by that is perhaps the emotions that are coming up are the result of a pattern that you've been running for weeks, months, years, decades, right? The astrology of this new moon is going to provide this like cut, this sharp cut to this pattern so that you don't repeat it going into the future. Now, this cut could cut deep. It could cut deep, it could cut fast, it could cut dangerously, even, right? And when I say cut, I don't mean physically. I mean, this interruption could be really abrupt. It could be painful, right? But it's really to let you know that, babe, This is the end of the line for this. We cannot operate like this anymore. We cannot go into the future with this bullshit pattern that's been repeating in our lives. So, whatever is going to transpire at this full moon is really to disrupt that pattern, and you have to allow it. Yes, it may feel like you're being dragged. Yes, it may feel like you are regurgitating your very soul. That's how Scorpio rolls. Scorpio is intense like that. But the minute that you let it go, you don't have to experience it anymore. So whatever's transpiring, allow it to. If something is ending, allow it to. If something is trying to be birthed at this time, if something is trying to be broken into at this time, allow that as well. Okay. Now, this full moon is also going to be trying to the North Node. So there's an element of destiny here. There's an element of fate. It's like, of course, the universe is never trolling you, the universe is guiding you. And that guidance can be like a roller coaster sometimes. Other times it can feel like a lazy river, right? But here, this guidance is guiding you to exactly where you need to be on a very esoteric and spiritual level. Right. So it's like this full moon wants to remind you, hey, whatever's happening, it's not happening for no reason. It's happening because there's a trajectory and there's a karmic ending that needs to happen right now. So again, you need to allow and you need to surrender. Now, this full moon is also going to be in a loose trine to Jupiter. And so this is like emotions on 10. I want to repeat that. This is like emotions on 10. Big emotions, big feelings. And again, as big as they are, you may really want to distract yourself with the bullshit that's going on. Thanks to Uranus and Gemini, the doom scrolling, the watching the news all day, to being on X or threads and doing all of that instead of dealing with these big emotions. And I implore you, process these emotions. Try your best not to feed into the distractions and everything, because here's the thing. The sun in Taurus is going to help to stabilize all of this. So, whatever you're processing, whatever you're releasing, Taurus is here to say, okay, cool, we're going to keep this. This is going to be the foundation, the new foundation, after you get rid of everything that can make that foundation faulty, right? So, there's so many different things at work here. There's so many different moving parts, okay? But I implore you, if there's anything that you get from this video, whatever you're feeling this week, feel it. As big, as intense as these feelings may be, feel it. Number two, your intuition is going to be hella lit. Hella lit. So listen to it. Don't ignore it. Number three, whatever's transpiring, whatever pattern is being broken, allow it and surrender. If something is trying to be born or if something is trying to be reborn at this time, lean into it. But if something is ending, let it go. Don't try to hold on. Don't have a death grip on it. Let it go. You're building a new foundation. And there is the opportunity for profound change, specifically mentally right now. So tap into that. All right. Now, the other thing that I want to mention with this Scorpio full moon is that you're going to see, experience, and witness things like emotional avoidance, manipulation, power struggles. The uglier side of life is going to rear its head. And when it does, that's not an invitation for you to put your head in the sand like an ostrich and hide. It's also not an invitation for you to distract yourself. It's an invitation to show you what the truth is so that you can break that pattern, break that cycle, and move into the future. And then finally, Mercury is going to be moving into Taurus at the end of the week. So, like I said before, the Taurus energy right now is to stabilize things. And I love that Mercury is moving into Taurus after the full moon in Scorpio. Because once you've regurgitated everything, once the universe has shown you a new mindset to adopt, Mercury and Taurus is like, all right, we're going to ground this in our mind. We're going to stabilize this in our mind. This is going to be our new mental baseline. Okay. So hopefully this all made sense. Hopefully this is a time that you can really use to make some mental changes. Okay? That full moon in Scorpio, it ain't gonna leave you alone, babe. As much as you want to hide, as much as you don't want to feel whatever you're going to be feeling, that full moon in Scorpio is inescapable. But the beauty of Scorpio is that it ends what no longer serves to allow for something new to be reborn. Scorpio is the sign of transformation. So allow yourself to be transformed. Allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling. Allow yourself to adopt a new mindset. Allow yourself to say, enough is enough. I'm done with this. It's time for something new. I mean, the full moon in Scorpio isn't going to let you escape otherwise. All right. So let me know in the comments below. Where's Scorpio in your natal chart? Where are you going to experience this intense and powerful new moon? All right, my loves, that's pretty much all I've got for you for this video. Hopefully it made sense. Hopefully you take this information and use it, right? Because a lot can change this week, or this week can be the beginning of profound change as long as you lean into the energy. All right, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and share this with whoever needs to hear it. I'm so serious about that because my purpose here is not just to teach astrology, it's to help you understand astrology so you can use it to have a better life experience. So if you know someone who could benefit from this, if you know someone who's a Scorpio, even if you know someone who's a Taurus, and this is really going to hit them hard, share this with them so that they can be prepared. All right. And as always, if you want to know more about yourself in a way that is truly profound and life changing, then you want to tap into my signature natal chart experience, which is called the Blueprint. This is not your regular reading. This is the seminal natal chart experience. It's really three readings in one. So, in this session, which is 60 minutes, you will understand not only how you're designed, but what chapter you are in and what is going on right now that is of importance to you. All right. It's like three readings in one. So if you're interested, the first step would be to sign up for a free 15-minute clarity call. We can discuss the service at length, figure out if it's the right fit for you, and then move forward. So if you want to book that clarity call, the link is in the description box below. However, if you already know that this is your thing, that this is something that you want to tap into, the link to book the Blueprint straight away is also in the description box below. All right, my loves, thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you nothing but the absolute best for this week and beyond, and during this intense as Scorpio full moon. And I'll see you in my next video. Take care.